Hey folks, we're here at the City Museum today in St. Louis, and out of everything we were doing on this trip, this was absolutely what I was most excited for. It says it's a museum, but it's really, I think, more of a giant funhouse and really weird, really crazy. I've been wanting to go to this place for years. Let's go and check it out. So if you walk into the City Museum, this section is going to be on the ground floor on your right-hand side. You've got this big treehouse looking structure with things the kids could climb in, and there are things that you could climb in all over this museum. One interesting thing about this area, this is where the aquarium is. So if you look at that glass there's actually live fish in there, and a whole bunch of different fish that people could look at. You've got some more climbing structures in front of you. This place is really crazy. As you can see, kids sliding down underneath a tree there to go into some sort of a structure. I don't think I did that one. But the place is just bonkers. You can see people could pop up in there. It's actually pretty. It's a very pretty place too, very arts feel. Now, underneath that elephant, that's actually something you crawl out of in one of the wilder experiences in this whole place. Now, the City Museum, I loved it. You know, you can see it's very different, very artsy, but sort of like an artsy funhouse. In front of us here is this big whale, and this whale is the entrance to get to the caves section. And to get to the caves, you go right through this whale's mouth. This also another area to view the aquariums and stuff like that is through the whale's mouth, but it's cool. Not every day you get to walk through a big whale. There's some more of the museum over there on the left. I think that's where you enter the museum proper. Heading on in through the whale's mouth past kids. There are kids everywhere, so if you are somebody that does not like kids very much, definitely not the place for you. And into the darkness here in the whale's mouth. Now if you take a left, I believe it's right there. That's where you get to the cave section. Go ahead, I think you get a little bit more things to climb on and some views of those aquariums as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about the caves themselves. They very much feel like, if you've ever been to Tom Sawyer's Island at Disney World, it kind of gives me that kind of a feel, except with more things and more places and tunnels you could climb through. Also a little bit darker, so definitely not as lawyered up as you'd find at the Walt Disney World Resort or Disneyland, places like that. The caves area is actually really cool too. Lots of exploring, not as well lit, so I imagine it's very, very easy to lose your kids in there. So just be wary to keep an eye on them, especially in the cave section. And lots of things you could crawl through and explore, and you never know like where that cave might lead or might not lead. It might lead to a dead end, or it might lead to a slide. That's what makes the City Museum so unique, is the really that vibe of exploration. And I think the caves area might have that more than anything else. Probably has to do with the darkness. You don't really know where these pathways lead. Alright, and also in the caves area themselves, you can find our next attraction. And that is the 10-story slide. Yes, probably arguably the most famous part about the City Museum. This was built out of an old abandoned shoe factory that later became this part of the museum. So they took those shoe things and made them into a 10-story slide. Also, there in this area of the museum, there's more fish. Now, this is actually one of my larger disappointments here at the City Museum, as while it sounds really, really awesome to go on a 10-story slide built out of an old shoe factory, the problem is it was probably better at moving shoes than it is at moving people. So there's different points in the time of the slide I kind of get stuck. Obviously, it's a little bit shaky, as this really was not designed initially as a people transportation device. It didn't really move as well as some of the other slides. Still something cool to say that I've done it, but this is definitely a one-and-done kind of thing to do at the City Museum. It's not one of those super fun slides you want to keep going on again and again and again. Do like it that it ends in this kind of the cool red light lit area once you get to the bottom. And my favorite part is watching this audio back. At one point in the slide, I must have bonked my head. Let's listen and watch that clip now. Oh, my head! Just got to show you the footage. The wing of an airplane is like the platform. And then you go from there's one airplane over here, you go through the skeleton of an airplane over here. It's crazy. You wander right up into the cockpit, I think.
There's a child in there.
Oh, there's a child in there.
But you can.
Molly can sit down for a while.
You need it after
Yeah,
a while.
you do. Another cool slide here in the outdoor area that's shaped like a dragon. Also, it is fun to watch the adults try to go through this thing, because it is so difficult. I bent my body in ways that my body should not bend to go through it. So in the uncharted rooftop area, there's a great old school Ferris wheel that overlooks the top of the city here. Really neat. One of the big stars on the show in the rooftop area is the praying mantis slide, and one thing that makes this slide really unique is that there's a climbing apparatus on top of the slide itself. So if you want to climb up, you're on the first level, and then you slide down below the people climbing on the lower level. And first of all, let me tell you, you could take the stairs or you could do this crazy climb. I recommend taking the stairs. I'm going to speed up this clip because it's about 4 minutes long. It took me 4 minutes to climb all the way up this stupid praying mantis thing, and it was pretty exhausting. So I'd recommend taking the stairs unless you're up for an adventurous, very, very, very long climb. And then the slide itself, tons of fun. One of the better slides in the whole museum.
Lean back, keep legs straight, you good? Don't touch your feet.
Attractive.
So on floor 3 is this Beatnik Bombs, which is cool because it's got like old-timey arcade games. And then there's a bar in here too, one of the many bars. You can buy a whole bunch of toys from a vendor over there. It's something else, it really is. An old-timey bumper car. Anyway, this is interesting part, and a cool place to have a drink. On top of all the other shenanigans here, they do a circus act. Like a couple times a day, they have their own mini circus. So this slide here is a great example of, let's see where this goes. This is actually one of my favorite slides in the entire city museum. As you can see with this guy hanging on there, it is really, really steep. This slide was almost vertical from what I remember. And it's the kind of thing you don't know how far it is, how long it goes, or whatever it is. But it's very fast, very smooth, and super, super fun. So big thumbs up to this one. I was referring to it as the boiler room slide, as it ends up down here in this like maintenance facility. Now that's the good part. And this slide, so much fun. The bad part is getting out of this slide. There's 2 different ways to escape. Neither of them are any good. You could go straight ahead, and that'll be really, really tough. Or in this way that I chose, as you can see from that kid in front of me, you have to like military crawl on your stomach to get out of this thing. So I will say, like, if you're a claustrophobic at the City Museum, you might not want to go and just go on so many adventures, because it could lead you to something like this, where you're then crawling on your stomach out beneath that elephant that I mentioned earlier. So this thing, a lot of fun. That escape, not so great. Also, this is another slide while watching back the audio, I made a really funny noise coming down. So let's go ahead and play that clip right now of me going down that slide and listen along. Something I'm bummed is not operating today is the City Express. It is your like miniature railroad, like Walt Disney had in his backyard kind of mini railroad. Then the mini railroad you ride goes back past like your model train type of city. And then there's other things, like you could end up, if you take some of the tunnels, you could end up in the middle of the train tracks. And it's also, this is, as with anything else here at the City Museum, it is not your typical model railroad, as it's being attacked by a giant bug and fire-breathing dragons. Now let's take a little walk around the rooftop area here with the Ferris wheel and this big wide slide a whole bunch of people could go down at the same time. There's that mantis slide I was talking about earlier. Now moving along, you are on the rooftop of a 10-plus story building, so you get some amazing views of the city of St. Louis, and that's always a plus. Some little bit of information about the rooftop. It is an extra charge to go up there. You could buy a ticket to the museum and not get the rooftop included, so it is a bit of an upcharge. I decided to take this dangerous stone walk over the water. Also, the rooftop area is only open during the warmer weather seasons. So if you were to go to the museum right now in January, it would not be open. When I filmed this back in May, it was open. Another one of the iconic parts of the City Museum is this guy here, and that is a school bus that is hanging off the side of the building. And you could go into it. Really a pretty neat thing here. You know, not every day you get to go on hop on a bus that's hanging over the side of a building. And it kind of gave me vibes of like Jurassic Park 2, where they were in that RV that's sort of hanging over. And it's just a bus. And one of my favorite features about the bus is not only that you could go in it, but you could sit down here into the driver's seat. And just as you would hope that it would, the bus door, it opens up. It's caged off, so you can't go over there. But what a cool visual that is, right, guys? Just hanging out on the roof of a building in a bus plane with a door. Ah, man, very neat. Interesting, very interesting. I guess this on the website was listed as the skate park without skates, and just features like all sorts of ramps and stuff that you could run up and down, rope climbs, and whatever on earth some of these things are over here. I guess you could run up and slide down. I mean, that's really kind of wild looking stuff there. Quick shot here in the dome area. They had these cool top-like chairs you could sit in and whirl around, and well, they're more wild than they look.
Oh! Oh, I feel like I'm gonna topple over, except I'm not toppling over.
The Shoelace Factory Bead and Gift Shop. And look at some of these machines. Like, I got a background in engineering, so I love machines. I don't even know what that does. It's neat. Oh, it's making shoelaces, I think? Snazzy. So from the first floor, you can access the outside ground floor area. I think it said Monstro City was the name of it. And it's got a giant ball pit, more slides, some really crazy looking climbs, like out of the airplanes and stuff. Like, you look at it like, oh, that doesn't look like it should be a thing, but it's a thing. And just more craziness. Now, I've been showing you a lot of cool stuff with the in the loop GoPro camera. Unfortunately, as you're going to see in this next clip, one of the rope climb slides destroyed the casing on the GoPro camera. Now, the GoPro itself, it's fine, but the casing, not so much, so I'm not going to be able to get any GoPro stuff out here. Good thing they're indestructible.
There. Not I.
So apart from the slides and all that, there's also like real museum-y type parts to the City Museum. Like there's a whole floor, I guess, or a section of a floor dedicated to architecture. A lot of it looks like it's being redone, but you know, this museum is something else. Hey Molly, what time is it?
Much needed for beer 30.
Yes. So the City Museum is like the most exhausting place in the world. We've been here for about an hour and a half, and but I love that not only do they have multiple bars, like I think there's 3 or 4 different bars here, but they also have a City Museum Pilsner. Check out that artwork. Like, that is fantastic. And beer's not bad either. It's like $6, so not too bad of a value for an attraction beer. More weird, typical museum-y type stuff too, with, you know, dead animals and gems. So here's something I originally was not going to do at the museum. I saw it, I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, but it would probably be pretty challenging, and I'm not sure if I would fit up there. I was afraid I might get stuck. And then I saw like a 50-year-old man do it. I'm like, no, there's no way. I'm definitely going to do this thing. So in this footage, you get to see me struggle mightily while trying to make my way up this dome. And you essentially climb on the outside of a dome itself in this weird fence-type concoction all the way up, probably a good 70 feet in the air at one point. You could see me struggle. My pants are falling down, so good thing you're getting this view and not the butt view. But there we go. Enjoy me struggling. And I think there's a kid that pesters me and asks me questions as I'm really, really struggle towards the top. Enjoy.
Butt shot. Are you going down the slide again?
And that will do it for our time here at the City Museum. And it's really a hard place to describe. For me, I absolutely loved it. Like this, I'm lucky enough that we get to travel all over the country, go all over the world, and I've never seen another tourist attraction anything like the City Museum. It is so bonkers, so much fun, and completely and utterly exhausting. We've been here about 3 hours, and I think by this point, I'm in okay shape, and I've sweat through all my clothes, and everything hurts. And unfortunately, I do have some battle scars, as I'm going to pass the phone to Molly as we tell you some important tips for your visit. This is when you talk, Molly.
One, your pants might get damaged, aka hole in pants that was not there at all. So wear maybe slippery pants.
Yeah, try to wear something that would work well on a slide.
Yeah, and then two, there are stains everywhere.
Didn't I destroy a couple of belt loops?
And yep, that's what I said. Right here, these two. There's holes in belt loops no longer attached there. Stains on your pants.
Yeah.
And I think there's bruises too.
Oh man, yeah. One of the slides, like I think I burnt my butt. Like I've got a slide burn on my cheeks.
On your side, and
oh man, yeah. But overall, man, this is some of the best, $19 you could spend. I had a blast. For me, one of the things I'm thinking, like, the kids in St. Louis are so lucky to have this. Like, I would be here all the time if I was a kid that lived around here.
It's great, especially for ages, I think like 8, 9, 10. Perfect, because the adults don't need to be with you the entire time.
No.
And you're small enough to go through some like small little caves.
Yeah, some of the caves the adults can't. Yeah.
Go through. And so you don't want your small kid to go through those.
Also
caves
on all the wristbands. Yeah. Also on the wristbands, they give you a space to write your phone number. for when, you know, the kids lose their parents every hour. Also, there's a nice legal disclaimer on there that they're not responsible for injuries, as people must get hurt here all the time. Guys, if you're in St. Louis, you've got to go to the City Museum. Wear somewhat athletic clothes, good slide pants, and you might need a hot tub the next day, 'cause, I think everything's gonna hurt. But if you have any questions about the City Museum, let me know in the comments below. Get here, man. I cannot give this place high enough regards.